I noticed yesterday when I was driving my pickup truck that it felt like something was holding it back. And I would let off, and I know how it usually feels. I've had this truck, bought it when it had 69,000 miles on it, and it's got 127,000 on it now. It'll be due up for another oil change after a little while, at 131,000 anyway. So I said, something's not right about the way this truck feels. You know your own vehicle. And so when I got to the post office, I found out what was going on. And so I'm going to go ahead, see if I can give you guys a little instruction on how I found this. And we'll talk about what I'm going to do about it. And I'll thing up with my 12-volt jack. Just let it keep on going up. This thing right here is really handy because once you get it in place, if it's on good solid pavement, it'll just jack it right on up. These hubcaps don't exactly fit right, but they look okay. Alright, now I got to get my impact wrench to pull this off. I think I'm going to change this caliper just because. Oh, it's loose enough. Come off of it. I don't want to damage the pads because I plan to reuse these. If I was going to be a belt and suspenders guy, I would probably go ahead and replace the pads just because they got kind of hot. There it is. See, that caliper there has got a torn boot. Get this all here. I'll make a little mark on that rubber, but I didn't scratch it. There it went. There we go. Now then. You'd be surprised the torque chews in there and then put all of it together. I am not doing that. I am not doing it. But so I can break it. There that is. Okay. There's the other one. To put some grease on that steering stop where I'm going to have issues. Need to be tight. You don't put them in there tight, you're asking for trouble. And the 20-volt DeWalt will usually do the job. Now then, I wanted to get cocky again. And we're going to see some fluid. Alright, I'm going to put this down so the fluid will stay in it. See that fluid dripping? Alright, now I'm going to put the that should be okay. Now I've opened it. There's one. There's two. Look at that thing trying to fall off and hang by the hose. Alright.
That's interesting. How is that possible? There it is. Look at these ones. All right, now then, where's my 7th grade? Open the hood. I also got to add a little dab of coolant, like I have to every little valve. That brake fluid is kind of a pink color, which is very interesting. Might need to do a flip, you think? I'm doing it keeps from making such a mess on the driveway. And there's my little bleeder bottle, which I need to pour that out somewhere. You can see how I did that though. Filled a hole where this fit nice and snug. You're going to have it below the fluid, and you got to have an air hole there. And then what I had it so that when I slide that on there, put this down here and you pump it, there's no air can go back in it once you get some fluid in the bottle. See, that works pretty well. I used a Gatorade bottle for that. And so
well, you might notice that the boot on one of the caliper pistons was busted worse than the other one, and I was sort of stymied whenever I saw that I couldn't get the thing to stick again after the first time it stuck, and I drove it and hit the brakes hard and did all kinds of things, and I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and change the caliper anyway. But what the deal was, I figured out, it's a dual piston caliper, obviously. One of the caliper pistons was sticking, the other one wasn't. And so initially, the first one stuck for the very first time, and I mean, heated that wheel up egg frying hot on the ride. I mean, it was, you wouldn't, if you made a clear blister on your hand if you touched it. And so I was figuring I would go, if it happened once, it was going to happen again. But the reason I never was able to get it to stick again, I figured out, was after it cooled off, the piston that had stuck, which is the one with the worst busted boot, had retracted on its own when it cooled off. And it was stuck in the retracted position, but I was still able to stop the truck because the other piston was still working freely. And so, but I was a little bit stymied by that, saying, why did it stick but it won't stick again? So I sort of figured that out after I saw the thing the way it was. I hope you got something out of this video, and I appreciate you guys watching. And this is going to be my video for today, and I'll see you again next week.